Hey guys, how you going? So in today's video I'll be showing you how to sort your HTML tables using JavaScript. So we're going to be using a very simple technique using the built-in array sort method, and it's going to work perfectly fine for text and numbers as the values inside the columns. However, it is extendable, which means that if you want to add your own custom logic into the sorting, then it's going to be very easy to do so. It also seems to perform really well. I don't see any performance drop-offs even when testing with a recent generation iPad and over 350 rows in the table. It still seems to work almost instantly. But anyway, right here is the example. As we can see, if I was to click on a column header, it's going to sort by that header or by that column. And it's very straightforward as you might expect, in the way it works. Okay, so let's go inside this tab right here and begin from scratch to create this table sorting. So inside the index.html file for that tab, it looks something like this. So first, let's create a new source directory, and inside here we're going to be including a new CSS file. It's going to be called tablesort.css, and this of course is going to be holding all of these CSS styles for the table sorting. So things like the symbols for the up and down, and also the background color that gets applied for the currently selected column. Okay. We can also create a new tablesort.js file, and this one of course is going to hold the JavaScript for the table sorting. We can then include those two files inside here, so linked for CSS at source and then tablesort.css, and do the same thing down here for the JavaScript. We're going to be including source and then tablesort.js. So now we are ready to move on to the HTML for the table sorting. So firstly, let's actually create a table to perform the sorting on. So let's make a new HTML table right here with a class of table and a second class of table-sortable. So this first class here, the table class, is not important to this tutorial. It is simply there just to make my tables look nicer for the video. However, this table-sortable class right here is important, and basically we're just saying that the table is going to be flagged as being sortable, so it supports sorting. Okay. Inside here we can create a new table head element, and inside here we can of course specify a row to contain each one of our column headers. We can just use the same data as I did for the example, so we can say rank, then I can say name, then age, and then occupation. Okay, cool. So now for the table body, I'm just going to create a new table row here, and I might just copy and paste the data which I used in the previous example. So I'm going to copy this from here and then paste it on the second screen right there. Okay, so as we can see, I have 4 rows of data. So now saving this and refreshing gives us something like this. So now we can move on to doing the JavaScript to of course sort the tables. So inside the tablesort.js file, we're going to be doing this by creating a function, and this function is going to simply sort the table, and it's going to be taking in 3 parameters. The first one is going to be the actual HTML table itself. The second one is going to be the index of the column to sort, and the third one is going to be whether or not we're going to sort ascending or descending. Okay, so let's create that function right now. We're going to be calling that function sort table by column, and like I said, it's going to be taking in 3 parameters, okay, or arguments. It's going to be table as the first one, the second one is going to be column, so column index, and the last one is going to be ascending or descending. I'm also going to be providing a default value for this parameter, and that is going to be true. So by default, we're going to be we're going to be sorting by ascending by default. Okay. I might just put some JS doc up here in order to document this function. So we can say first here for the first parameter, we're going to be passing in a HTML table element as the data type for that parameter. I'm just going to say here as a description the table to sort. For the second one here, it's going to be a number and this will be the index of the column to sort. Okay, and the last one here, of course, is going to be a boolean, and for this one we're just going to say determines if the sorting will be in ascending order. So of course, passing in false to this argument here is going to sort it by descending instead of ascending. And for the description here, we can simply just say sorts a HTML table. Okay. So now inside the function, we can firstly just grab hold of the table body element, because remember, we're going to be passing in an actual HTML table element into here. So first, let's make a new constant called tBody, which is equal to table.tbodies at index 0. So this is unfortunately only going to work when you have a single table body element inside your table. You can definitely modify it and make it work for multiple tbodies, but for simplicity and to cover most scenarios, I'm going to be having a single tbody, or at least support for only a single tbody. So now we can make a new second constant, and this one's going to be called rows equal to array.from, and we're going to be saying here tbody.query selector all, and we're going to pass in here tr. Okay, so 1 second, sorry. So we can pass in here tr, and basically here we're just selecting every single table row element, so every single one of these that are inside the tbody. Okay, and by using the array.from, it guarantees that we're going to be getting an array of TRs instead of the node list, and that's going to be important for doing the actual sorting. Okay. So now I do want to create one more constant just up here, and this one's going to be called direction modifier, so dir modifier, and we're going to say here if we have provided ascending equals true in the parameter, then we're going to say 1, otherwise we're going to say -1. I'll get into more of what this is doing a bit later on when we actually get to the sorting, but for now let's keep it right there. So now we're going to be actually sorting the rows, so we can just say down here sort each row. Okay, and then we're going to say const sorted rows is equal to the current rows, so the array of table row elements. We're going to say rows.sort, and then inside here for the compare function, we're going to be of course accepting the A and the B. So essentially right here with the A and B, A and B both refer to a single table row element, and basically you're going to be returning -1 or 1 from this function to determine the way it's going to be sorted. So inside here, inside this function, we're going to be grabbing the text content for each one of our table rows at the specified column index. Okay, so I do want to just go inside here and console.log just for now. I'm going to be logging out both A and B. Okay, just for now, right? And then down here, I'm going to say sort table by column. I'm going to be calling that function, okay? And we're going to be, of course, passing through this table right here. So let's say document.query selector and pass in here the table element right there. And then we're going to say, for example, let's just do one, for the second column. So basically, we are passing in this table right here to the sort table by column function. So now let's save this and then refresh the browser. In the console, as we can see, we get each one of those table row elements logged out to the console, right? So that is what we are working with. So now with each one of these table row elements, we're going to be getting the table cell at the specified index. So back inside here, let's create a constant called a_text. So table row A column text is equal to a.query selector. Okay, we're going to be passing in here using ES6 template strings. Okay, so using the backticks right there for this string, we're going to say td mth-child, just like that. Okay, then we're going to say .text content and then .trim. Okay, so now inside this nth child, what's it called? CSS pseudo class, I believe, or pseudo selector. I'm not entirely sure. I forgot. But inside here, we're going to be passing in column plus 1. Okay, so basically we are saying get the table data or the table sale element at the index which we passed in. Okay, let's do the same thing now for the B call text. Instead doing B or putting B inside here. So let's just now console.log both the A call text and the B call text. Okay. Save this and refresh, and now we get all of the data right there for the name column, of course, for each row. Okay, cool. So now we actually have the data. We can, of course, simply compare them and then say ascending or descending. So we're going to say return from this function. We're going to say if A call text is greater than B call text, then we're going to say this right here. We're going to say 1 times direction modifier. Otherwise, we are going to say -1 times the direction modifier. Now, let's just console.log the sorted rows. Okay, let's now save this and then refresh. And as we can see right here, we now get, of course, the 4 table rows. And we can see that by sorting by the name column, Andre, this first guy here, he is first in the list. The second we expect to be Dom, as we can see, and then John, and then Rebecca. So as we can see, our sorting technique is working perfectly fine. And now let's go back inside here and just change this direction, and let's just say false to make it descending. Saving this and refreshing now gives us a result where we have Rebecca first, and then we have John, and then Dom, and then Andre. So it's working perfectly fine. So now we simply just need to insert or reinsert those rows into the table. So let's say right here, remove all existing TRs from the table, and we're going to be saying while tbody dot first child. So while there is a first child in the tbody, so a single table row element, we're going to say tbody dot remove child, and we're going to pass in here tbody dot first child. Also, just be careful with the capitalization of the tbody constant. You may want to use all lowercase if it makes it easier. But anyway, essentially here we're saying that while there is a first child, or while there is a first a single table row element inside the tbody, then we're going to be just consecutively or continually removing each one until we reach the end. So this is basically just clearing out each table row from the table body. And then down here we can just say re-add the newly sorted rows. Okay, and for this we're going to simply say tbody.append. I'm going to pass in here ... I'm just going to say sorted rows. So basically this is going to be passing in each one of these sorted rows into the tbody.append method, and basically it just means that each one of these rows are going to be passed in and appended to the tbody. So now let's save this and then refresh the browser, and as we can see now the sorting is complete. And of course, seems to be working perfectly fine. We have Rebecca first for the descending order, then John, then Dom, and then Andre. Of course, let's go inside here and make this true for ascending. Try again, and we now get Andre, Dom, John, and Rebecca. And of course, as we can see, the whole table row element has been sorted as we expect. So the ranking is obviously in the wrong order, and of course, so is a few other things. But that's basically how we're going to be doing it. It's very straightforward. So now that we have the logic correct, we're going to be essentially just remembering which direction that each column, or this particular column right here, was actually sorted in. So we're going to say here, remember how the column is currently sorted. So of course, if looking at the name column right now, of course currently the name column is sorted ascending. So we want to actually remember this, and that's going to help with toggling back and forth between ascending and descending. Okay, so back inside here, let's just say table.query selector all. We're going to be selecting each one of the table head elements, and we're going to say for each one of those table head elements, we're going to say th, and we're going to say th.classList.remove, and then pass in here th sort asc, and then th sort, and then desc. And this will make more sense very shortly. But I do want to just go down here now and say table.query selector and pass in here th and then nth child, once again selecting the table header, this time at the specified index. And we're going to say inside here column +1. We're going to say dot class list, and we're going to say toggle. Then we're going to say th sort asc, and then pass in the ASC parameter from up here. This will make more sense very shortly. We can now just do the same thing and say th sort desc. So essentially, and here also we're going to be putting an exclamation mark to flip that boolean. So essentially we are saying that if we passed in ascending, then we're going to be adding the th sort asc class to the table header. So of course this one right here in this example, so the name table header, we're going to be adding that class right there to that header. If we passed in descending, then we're going to be putting the desc class instead on the table header. And of course up here we're going to essentially just clear out all of the current sorting on the table to remove each one of these classes which may have previously been inserted from these two lines right here. So now saving this and then refreshing and then clicking on the inspector here, we can see that this table header has a class of th sort asc. And of course if I was to make this a false, okay, try again, refresh, and now we get th sort desc, of course short for descending. So that's working perfectly fine, and that is all for this function right here. So let's just minimize this function and then actually apply the table sorting to every single table element which appears on page load. So for this we're going to say document.query selector all, and passing in here .table sortable and then th. So basically we're going to be selecting every single table header element that is within a table that is sortable. Okay, and we're going to say dot for each. Okay, we can just say header cell right here, or even th is going to work perfectly fine. Okay, and inside here we're going to just say header cell dot add event listener. We're going to pass in click. So basically when the table header gets clicked on, we're going to run this function inside here now, and this function is going to say const table element is equal to header cell dot parent element dot parent element dot parent element. Okay, so basically this table element needs to refer to this table right here. If we begin with a th as we are, then going up the parent once, twice, and 3 times is going to give us the table element itself. So that is why I'm doing parent.parent.parent. Okay, we can then say const header index is equal to array.prototype.index of. Okay, then we're going to say dot call and then pass in here header cell dot parent element dot children, and then we're going to pass in header cell. So basically we're making use of the index of function, which is found typically on arrays, and we are instead calling it on each one of the children elements in the header. So essentially when it says dot children, this refers to an array like data structure of each one of these table header elements right here, and basically we are saying find the index of the header cell which we clicked on. Of course, running this function right here is going to give us a value of 1 for the name table header if we clicked on the name. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and that's basically how that's going to work. So now we have the table elements, we have the header index. The last one here is going to be the ASC, ascending or descending. So for this one, it's going to be slightly more complicated. We're just going to say const current is ascending is equal to header cell dot class list dot contains. Then we're going to say th-sort -asc. So we're just saying that the column is currently sorted ascending if it contains the th-sort asc class, which we of course added inside here if we did choose to use ascending. Okay, so that is how we get that value. So now it is as simple as just saying sort table by column. We're going to call the function, we're going to pass in the table elements, and also of course the header index, and then we're going to say not current is ascending. So we're going to be flipping this boolean right here to simply make it go the other way around, from ascending to descending, and then ascending, descending, etc. Okay, so that is all it needs. So now saving this and then refreshing the browser, it should now work perfectly fine. So pressing on name, for example, is going to flip the names each time, and of course it's going to work for every single column now that we actually used the add event listener for the click on each one of our table header elements. So now the last part of this video is going to be doing the CSS to make it look like this. So it's going to be very easy. So inside the CSS, we can firstly just target the table-sortable class, and we're going to say each one of those table header elements, we're going to say cursor and make this pointer. We can then say .table-sortable, then we're going to say .th-sort -asc, then colon after. So basically, this is going to be selecting the table header element, which is currently sorted ascending. Once again, using the class which we specified earlier inside here. Okay, so if the table header is being sorted ascending, then we're going to say content, and we're going to be saying \25 and then B4. So this right here is going to be the Unicode representation of, I believe, it is going to be the triangle which starts small and then gets bigger for ascending. Okay, we can do the same thing down here for the DESC, or the descending table header row, and this one's going to be 25BE. Okay, and then we can just target both of these selectors. So we can just say DESC here. And for both of these, we're just going to say margin dash left at 5 pixels to add some space between the actual little icons and the table header text itself. Okay, and then finally, we're going to be targeting table-sortable and then th-sort asc, but this time the actual table header elements themselves. And for this, we're going to say DESC, and then we're going to say background. We're going to say RGBA 000 and then 0.1. So of course this time around we are going to be selecting or creating a CSS pseudo element for each one of these table header columns that are sorted ascending. These ones here are going to be selecting the actual table header elements themselves instead of the pseudo element, the actual icon itself. Okay, and this background right here of course adds a darker shade to the background, which hopefully should make it look something like this. Okay, so let's just click on this now, and as we can see, it appears to be working perfectly fine. Now this shading of the background here is only going to work if your table row element has a background color. If you are applying your background colors to the table headers themselves, then unfortunately this technique right here is not going to work. You may want to instead bold your text or do something else to indicate that that is the current column that is being sorted. And as we can see, of course, the actual icons themselves for the sorting order is also working perfectly fine. So that is how to sort your HTML tables using JavaScript Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.